We're waiting for Solomon, who's over there, to get his haircut. Y'all see him. But while we're waiting in this Philly barbershop, this Philly barber with this Philly music, let's talk about how Kamau left Philly and came to LA.
Yeah, my
Oh, you were ready. Did you write this?
I didn't. I mean, I listen. I've said it a couple times. I think it's a little inspirational.
All right.
Yes. Who's that playing on the radio? You hear it? Or the TV? Who's that? No. Huh? Not Kanye. Uncle Tariq. We got it raise it right, wow.
Yo, this is crazy. And you know what's funny? I forget. So I don't even know how to introduce Kamau and PHI-LAY, because it's like we got so many different ways that we are like, we love each other and reasons why and how we connected. I don't even know where to start. You're like my only Philly friend, and I also share my DC family.
DC connection, definitely. So listen, maybe that's what it is. So we do have that DC thing together because I went to Howard. Right. Yeah, I went to Howard, undergrad in law school, and it's funny because when I left for college, I left like all my friends who were like moving into the industry. So it was like I was gonna go get smart and then come back and like work with my friends. That was kind of my plan.
And then with the whole reconnection.
I know.
Because how long? Tell that story. Tell your root story. I always find that interesting how people are connected to their roots.
So I've known Tariq, Amir, Kenyatta, Hub, Kamal. I've known those guys since high school. My uncle was their photographer and shot the cover of Do You Want More and
the blue and black?
Yeah, that was in Posey Tolbert.
That's right, because in Posey's your...
That's right.
I keep forgetting he's your uncle, because he's like...
Sadiqi's brother, yeah.
I keep forgetting.
So one of Posey's most noted pictures of the Roots is when we were all at one of their jam sessions preparing for them to go on tour. It's the classic black and white with Tariq with the mic, Amir on the drums. And
like all those legendary black and white photos are like from Posey's.
And we were, that was crew. That's just what it was. I went to law school because I wanted to make a difference. Like Rodney King had happened when I was in high school. I went to Central. So Rodney King had happened and I staged this big walkout. We walked up to Broad and Olney, hold hands and held up traffic.
I love it.
And because of the social things that were going on, I went to law school, having been locked up a bunch of times. I was like, I'm gonna go to law school to work for the little guy. When I got there, I realized it was all bullshit and hide the ball, and so I left and got into education. I figured maybe that could be the way that I could effectuate the change I wanted. And I did education for a good 12 years, always on the administrative side, being a behavior advisor, dean of students in that capacity, which is funny because I was terrible in school. I hated school.
Yeah, I don't picture you being like the funny dude in class.
Yeah, I hated it. I was a class clown because I'll tell you what it was, and it wasn't until my senior year that I got tested. I would always, all my grades throughout school were always AAF, effort, achievement, behavior. And it wasn't until my senior year, my government teacher, Mr. Tucker, he's like, how are you always suspended, but yet we always have to vote you off for honor roll? Like, how is it that...
Vote you off?
Yeah, vote me off because of my behavior. So I would make honor roll because of grades. Yeah, but they had to vote me off. Well, they tested me, and I scored off the charts. I was gifted.
Right.
I was a young black male, so I was just seen as bad and disruptive when I didn't need 2 weeks to know what an obtuse angle was. It's that one. Let's move on. So I was a teacher's nightmare.
Some class clowns, man, don't sleep.
We knew what it was.
I was the same way. I played at 16.
At 16?
In high school.
Damn, wow, you smart as shit.
See, people thinking it's just funny.
I mean,
lost it though. So,
yeah.
That was a long time.
It was, but education was always really, really strong in my family. My family actually started at school. Essentially, in the early 70s, they didn't want to risk us being taught by white people. Let's just say what it was. So they all started a school. Sonia Sanchez was one of our English teachers. It was called Nathamu Sasa, which meant African Free School.
That sounds so DC because we had a lot of those kind of schools, like
we weren't playing.
and Roots.
We weren't playing. And so many of us have moved on to become doctors, lawyers, educators, and so forth. I mean, my grandmom had my mom when she was 13 and has 2 MBAs and her PhD from Wharton. My mom had my sister at 14, and my sister is the first African-American female pediatric surgeon educated and trained in the country.
That's an interesting trend.
Had me at 18 and I went to law school. So it was like we were education and everything.
Y'all should be going around doing speeches.
I don't know. Maybe Oprah cut the check.
No, I'm just
cut
saying.
the check, Oprah. Fast forward. It's about 2012. And I would come out here and be like, it's gorgeous. The glasses half full. People are living life and enjoying themselves.
They haven't for no reason. What is that?
I would come home and be like, babe, we're coming to California. It was 2012 because Solomon was still young. And we were worried that we didn't have a community out here, so she would say no. Year after year, I would keep coming. She kept saying no. 2014, I was like, screw this. I was like, screw this. I'm bringing all of it. We flew into LA, rented a truck, drove out to Palm Springs. Shannon went to go to the mall to get food. Came back in and said she was looking for jobs in the morning. That was in April of 2014. We bought one-way tickets in May and moved in June. Peace. Sold everything, gave a lot of stuff away.
With 2 kids, with babies.
2 kids. Well, that's what we did it for. Solomon, put your hands down, bro. That's what we did it for. We grew up in a concrete jungle. We wanted our kids to be able to, you know, eat granola and surf if they want. You know, and if they decide they want to take over the world, know that there will be a world right for them to take over. But we didn't want them to grow up with that pressure that, like, I grew up with. Like, I can't function if my community's not doing better.
Right.
So a part of my life is dedicated to my people, and it's stressful. I didn't want them to really have that. I want them to just be able to almost be oblivious. I'm sorry, maybe call it socially irresponsible. I didn't want that for my kids. Now, would they ever be whitewashed? Would they ever not know their struggle?
I was about to say,
No.
you got Harry.
They wouldn't have that. They would not have that.
Okay.
But at the same time, I didn't want them, we didn't want them to experience so many of the potential ills that the city does represent. Right. And we just wanted them to just live. This is why I moved to LA.
So, Kamau, you made it here, and now you're in the hustle, but like you're doing some things with education and producing that are a little different. You got to break it down to folks.
Yeah, so I connected with an organization that essentially educates or provides private education for families who choose not to send their kids to traditional school.
So wait, this is like an actual corporation that is there for people who don't want to send their kids to regular school.
Absolutely.
Some LA, I mean, it sounds very LA.
Oh, it's very LA, and that's the thing about LA, because you have this huge entertainment industry here. You have tons and tons of people who service it. So I taught privately for a family, and because of my NDA, I can't disclose it.
So explain, this is so ill to me. So is the screening process, because you've been in public school, you've been in charter school, the screening process, how is it different?
Oh God, it's take education out of it.
Okay.
It's more so about the business and then the family. So it was probably about a 3-4 month process. And once you got through the business side, that you passed all the background checks and all that with the business, then you had to meet the family. But it was priceless. And I wish I could talk more about it, but I can't. But what I can say is I had the pleasure to work with, throughout my career working with the agency, with some really amazing young people whom, strictly because of who they are and who their parents are going to be slated with making some changes, and they're going to have a voice just because of who they are. So for me, somebody who loves politics and history, to be able to give them the real, you know, and really go in, that, I mean, that's...
And this is dope because
that's priceless.
You actually, see, Kamau, and when you broke down your background as far as the kind of education that you had,
sure,
and then knowing that these Hollywood kids
that's
are
right.
getting, they have to get a little bit of Kamau regardless of whatever the curriculum is, right?
They're getting it from there.
Which makes that even doper to know that they're getting a little bit of that, you know, they're getting a little, you get it.
That's right.
Yeah,
They're getting some. They're getting some. They're getting some.
LA
LA gave me a place to make my dreams come true. Right? So things that I wanted to do, passion that I had, ideas that I had, LA is a place that says, okay, that's a great idea. Do it. Here's a budget, do it. And if it sucks, they never call you back. If it's good, they're like, we loved what you did. Come back and do it again.
See, that's what PHI-LAY's for, inspire you. You might not want to come to LA. You might be just trying to get out the house and go
come to LA.
So come to LA, because we're here.
And it's so beautiful. Look at this
place.
PHI-LAY. Look at this. Come on. Who doesn't want to live here?
It's kind of dope.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my God, what part of Philly are you from?
I'm from out in Bucks County, right outside of Philadelphia.
Same thing.
My daughter lives in West